Probably a weird time to be doing this, like at 4, but whatever. We'll watch it later. All right.
How are we doing, team? Pretty sure there's nobody on the feed right at this moment, but that's okay. You're going to watch it secondhand and see some pressure defense. But in the meantime, Chuck and I got to get warmed up. Both of us are going to be getting stack our backs and all that sort of thing. Like and subscribe. Try to spread this around, right? We want to spread some good Jiu Jitsu vibes around, not coronavirus. All right, let's go on the wall. Get some cycles. Let's do 10 to the side, 10 to the left. Space to kick each other. Easy to do any distancing when it comes to stack passing. To the exact opposite. Throw my hip out of the socket as well. If everybody's been working out, doing what they got to do, once again, I'm pretty sure nobody's watching right now, nobody's doing anything with us, but it's okay. Keep yourself in shape. Chuck and I are gunning for whoever comes back. Hopefully soon enough. That, I always go big cuts, alternating my arms kept over right. Try to control the blade. Stand right there. Looks good with the logo. Perks of having the screen to see your shot. Very helpful. So relieved to have an uke. Supposed to feel like home again, not river. It's always more fun with more people, not these days. Still back on our heels, up on our toes. Just a little balance drill. Also one of those calf messes up. Guard situations. Everybody likes to work up their upper body. Forget about their little chicken legs. All right, we're going to do some squats. Not even for a number. We're just what I'm going to be concentrating on, and hopefully Chuck will concentrate on too. It's just our breathing in through our nose, exhaling through our mouth, just engaging our legs just as many times as we feel our legs need. Not even worrying about it, just locking our breath to our breathing. So if you want to go for reps, it's up to you. For us, we're just going to kind of be on the fly. So just go big breath in through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Basically, as long as we have oxygen in our lungs, we should be able to sustain that pressure. Big breath in, exhale out. And I like to go really low. Especially if you're just breathing, you're not agitated by the situation. Take a chance to just go down on your knees on the pillow and just bask in the sun. Let that a lot. Feel my brain, just close your eyes. All right, that feels good. It's going to drop down into a 4-point position here because we're going to be stacking each other up. I wish I would have warmed up my back more recently when I was getting stacked, but got to make sure you get your back in the wrist. We're just going to do a good old cat and cow stretch. Pull it down, be hands under our shoulders, knees under our hips. Big breath in through our nose. Exhale through our mouth. Move out like a cow. Arch your back like a cat. Move out like a cow. Pretty sure this is a weird time for everybody. And nobody wants to be indoors right now. I certainly don't. And most of the day outside, actually. On the porch, calm down. All right, on our exhale, let's get our pointer dog. Big breath in, exhale out, pointer dog. Very important for us. Manage that lower back. You see decrepit old men, they're all hunched over like they're forever reaching down to pick something up. Preaching to the choir. Once again, everything's always on a big deep breath version. Lots more breath to your movement. All right, let's just go down to let's do push-up parachuters. I'm talking to Chuck. It's nice to have somebody to talk to, but I'm talking to everybody who might be listening too. Drop down for a push-up, up for a parachuter, same old thing. We're just doing it on our deep breath version, not even caring about repetition, just as much as we need it. Big breath in, exhale out. Because I just don't like counting that much. That's fine. All right, let's flip over our backside, Chuck and Trevor. Visible land. In the middle, deep breath version, nothing fancy going on here. Big breath in through your nose. I like to flex and wake up my whole body on that. Exhale, flex that core, never hold your breath. Big breath in, flex that body. Exhale. Always for quality, not quantity. Kind of how your brain group should be. It's good to have a lot of friends and know a bunch of other people and all kinds of other things. All walks of life. All right, Chuck. Let's go take our belts off. We're going to do those belt stretches. Playing for some side of our drills in there while we're at it. Synchronize and belt drills look good. Or maybe not. I'm going to switch to the side however you want. I like to throw my belt behind my head. That's what I like to do because I'm lazy. It's really so warm today that I really didn't need to do much of a warm up. Maybe I should have made it no. Switch to the side. Definitely do want to show some nosy techniques, some knee bars, leg locks. That'd be fun. Maybe next month. Switching to the other leg. Once again, making sure we're breathing. Keep that bottom leg straight as much as possible. Try to sort of keep your leg locked out, not so much that you're going to hurt yourself. Switch off to the side. Side again. Trying to keep those shoulders on the ground, keep that bottom leg extended. All right, we'll leave our belts off for the moment. We're just going to stand on our back and get some streamers or some windshield wiper motion, whatever you want to call them. Okay. We're going to start with circles inward. We're going to be going every direction. This is actually going to be extremely important for almost everything I'm going to be showing today. Knowing how to move your legs. Right now we're staying stationary, but eventually we'll be turning side to side. Very important for you to know how to move your legs. It's just the outside circles on this. A little bit more of a rarity, but we do use this outside motion. If you're like shooting triangles or shooting some sort of unorthodox technique. Inward again. Switch again. All right, legs over your zone. Happen. Those of you couch potatoes, couch warriors, couch jiu-jitsu warriors, get yourself stretching. That's the very least that you could do. You could be like that crazy meme guy, like heel hooking himself. You know, we're all going crazy, I know. All right, just rock ourselves up. Just get a quick series of stretches that my old instructor would always do. I'm bringing up my old academy and stuff because that's basically where I'm going to be starting from.
my jiu-jitsu knowledge, like square one jiu-jitsu knowledge. Switch legs. Who knows, it might help you to better understand why we are where we are today. Actually, I knew that was going to happen. That one. Let's just do our left. Sorry about that. Apology accepted. I accept. I'm going crazy talking to myself. Both legs forward. He's there's a witness. Open up. Legs have been infinitely sore. Must have did something right. Butterfly. And bring those feet close. Try to bear those knees down. If you got crazy flexible shoulders, I like to turn my wrists around and work on. Try to get that weird stretch. All right, time for us. We're just going to tie our belts really quick, get our wits about us. And I'm going to start talking once Chuck is just going to sit there and look great. All right, team. So the theme for this month, next 8 classes, is going to be stack passes. Everything to do with, probably less to do with the executing of the stack passes, which I will show like my favorite ways. You can't talk about one thing without the other. But my main focus is going to be more of how to defend when somebody's smashing you. So I'm a little dude. The first pass that my old instructor would show you is from Gracie Baja, and if anybody's from that umbrella from Gracie Baja, they know that we all got taught the same pass. So Gumby goes against the grain on that, and obviously for good reasons, because the pass that I'm going to show is flawed in a lot of ways if you don't know what you're doing, especially if you're a first day student. In my case, for 3-4 years straight, I had to teach this same pass that would set everybody up for failure as opposed to success, and you know, can kind of hurts me like thinking about it back in the day. But on the same side of it, if you know what you're doing with the pass, you got all the tight space, you're heavyweight, or you know how to use your body, you can be very effective with this pass. If you don't know how to defend just a very basic single leg stack pass, you're going to get passed every time, and you're not going to know what you're going to do. And also, you're going to incur a lot of wrath on your back. And I know a lot of people actually can get choked from there. There are chokes from there, but I kind of digress on that. So I'm going to basically start from square one. Well, going backwards on this. So for the most part, a lot of us that would go to like a Gracie Baja instructor, it would send you off with like the blue belt or whoever it is, depending on the situation. And you'd always go through the same moves. Okay, I'm not going to necessarily go through all of them, but you go upa, you upa hips up, you get on top where we are here, right? Head, right through shoulders and hips, and we're bringing ourselves to the ground. And he wasn't necessarily so eloquent with those words. That's because of Gumby's words. But they would show a certain set of grips, and you'd always do the certain set of pass. You'd go to side control, switch your base, mount, and then you got that circle there. If you're doing good with that, if they feel like you're doing okay with that, you're going to get the Americana, you'll get the arm bar. Who knows, maybe you'll even get scissor sweep on that first day. Oh. Anyway, so let's go on your back, Jeff. So it took a while for me, or I came from a different academy before I came to Heroes and came with Gumby. And obviously, anytime you had some sort of pre-knowledge of something, sometimes things hit a wall for whatever reason. That's just how the human brain is wired. Unless you're just like really hungry to learn, and you can kind of silence your ego and that sort of thing, which you have to do. So the first thing that I learned from my instructor from the top guard here, like you always open up the collar, right? Grab the gi and all this sort of thing. And I admire Gumby for not necessarily showing this to all the beginner students, because it's like you don't really need to worry about that so much. You need to once again worry about what you're doing internally, not so much what you're doing with your grips and your arms and all that, right? So you're gonna fighting people with your arms as opposed to with your core and your legs, right? And you're gonna end up getting away with this for a long time. But ultimately, it's not good because you're breaking your posture down, you're using your arms when you should be, once again, using your center of gravity, hips, and your core and all that. But I have to talk about this, but I'm just showing you, or just talking about where I started out, my base knowledge that's going to help you kind of understand where everything is going to move on from here, okay? So there's a lot of good, true, and tried basic concepts that are still good with this, but you're going to see why this is bad, okay? So a good concept that'll still work throughout any sort of situation that you want, right? Anytime you step a leg up, you want to balance your head off to that side there. And also, I need to lift my hips up when I do this too. And there might be a situation where I get my posture broken down. That's the battle all the time, right? Half the time, person on bottom doing what they want to do. Half the time, I'm doing what I want to do. Some way we got to start to go over each other on that. So I got to lift my hips up and try to keep my posture up, thrusting my chest forward, keeping my head slightly back, not too far back, which is bad, right? And I'm going to bounce to my left side here. Okay, I have this grip, right? I might even be thinking about like keeping my elbow tight here. This is very, very important. Keeping your elbow tight in this situation. The belt grip really isn't necessarily the most important thing, but just notice what happens here. If I'm left-handed, I have to switch to this side, and I'll go the other way here, and it's going to dictate a lot of different things. Okay, so you may not have realized it when you're coming up, but based on when you're right-handed, there's going to be this predictability of how you're going to move. So in this case, I'll always stack this side of his leg. Therefore, I'm always passing to his right. Therefore, he's going to get really good at this side half guard with my right leg, and so on and so forth. You can kind of see the balance of that. So really quick. So a lot of times this is going to happen. So he's going to develop a good sense of recovery on this side based on me being right-handed. Me passing to this side, right? I'm going to get good at passing to this side. He's going to get good at side control recovery on this side. He's also hopefully going to get really good at feeling the opponent go up and over to mount, because this is just this constant thing, right? It's this constant thing that happens over and over and over until somebody screws you up and goes to the other side. You don't realize that you have two different sides on that. Anyway, I like to just explain a lot of hard basics and stuff that you have to. It's not really simplifying, but you kind of have to you do kind of have to simplify things a little bit. It's like your opponent is going to do this when you do this. You really have to simplify it. So you have to know what they're going to do. Meaning you're predicting what they're doing, not necessarily being so many steps ahead, just being a step ahead. When you get a step ahead, you might get 2 steps ahead, but you can't think so many steps ahead. You might be 1 or 2 at best. You shouldn't be thinking 3 steps ahead when you didn't even execute the first step. Okay, you got to go step by step on that. So I'm going to finally execute this pass. I'm talking about building context and building all these good situations, maybe more for Chuck than anything. Hips up, leg off to the side, you're balancing, right? Because that's a big thing too here. So Chuck, being on the bottom, will get really good at scissor swooping me to one side over and over. You're going to get good at swooping to the other side. So the reason why I keep my head on this side, because just generally, if I move my head over this side, if he just grabs me and yanks me over, but Aaron, no, keep your guard close, Chuck. Just keep your guard close, or just grab me and yank me over where I'm weak. Yep. Because of this grip-centric thing that I got going on, because I don't know where my balance is. And that's another thing too, is like when you're on bottom, there's different philosophies. There's ways to be proactive, breaking your opponent down, right? And we're going to talk about that probably towards the end, where it's like more preemptive defense, which is kind of offense if you think about it, right? Your guard is meant to keep you safe, but guard is what it is. You need to stay safe. And there's also situations where my opponent is going to need to open up, or whatever the situation is. I'm kind of losing my train of thought, but I need to show the pass. Hips up, leg up here. Okay, I'm going to reach back. Okay, this is why I'm spending all this time talking about other things, but this is why things are bad in this situation. You're a first aid person. You're doing this. You don't understand how to keep your arms tight. Nobody does. There's just all this glaring daylight. The moment I throw this arm inside, bring my opponent down, and he's going to triangle. See? And you'll be like, oh, what happened? But depending on who you are, you're a big dude, you're going to get away with this for a long time. There's a guy that used to train with us. His name is Christian. He moved away. Hey Christian, if you're watching us, but he would bait the single leg stack triangle situation just to pass because you would know that he's too big. But I, being the stubborn person that I am, would want to catch him at least 3 out of 7 times that he tries to do that, just to let him know he shouldn't be doing that. But I'm sure he still does it to this day. It is what it is, and you can actually choke people from that situation too. But I'm just saying, like, there are situations where triangle me with a chuck, just cross your feet. So we're in this situation. I might be postured up from here, right? This isn't a good situation for my opponent, right? We need to know how to recover. If I'm up at this point and I start smashing, depending, if I'm huge, imagine I'm Christian, imagine big Nordic dude doing this to you, right? This is not what you want to see coming at you right now on this side. So you need to know how to alleviate that pressure. But once again, let's move back. Let me show you how to do this pass the correct way. When and if you ever need to use it. Honestly, I tend to like to use the philosophy of reaching inside of the leg more. I go and keep your guard really tight, Chuck. More when I'm standing, I'm up here, right? I brought my opponent up. Like when I feel like my opponent's being really stubborn about not opening their guard, a lot of the time, sometimes I'll just reach in, and then I'm actually ready to go for more of a safe style of this pass. This is where I prefer to do this, but that's going a little too far ahead here. So let's go for it. The day one position that is just the context of my jiu-jitsu career. Is like I learned this first pass and don't tend to use it verbatim how I'm showing right now, but the principles of reaching under and knowing your armpit space, those things never go away here. Okay, so hips up, leg up, opposite side. I'm gonna reach inside. Reach inside. Very, very important to keep this elbow tight. Okay, so the difference between this style of pass and Gumby style of pass is I'm gonna be more shoulder heavy. Okay, Gumby talks about this all the time, being hip pressure heavy versus shoulder pressure heavy. You can't do 2 at the same time. You have to do one or the other. Okay, so right now I'm gonna choose shoulder pressure. I'm gonna pull with my grip nice and tight to keep my elbow tight to my body. I'm gonna open my hand and go thumb inside the collar here. Okay, and I'm gonna go deep here. Okay, really smash your opponent's knee to the nose. That's what he would always say. Smash your opponent's knee to your nose. Okay, so there's nice ways to do this and there's mean way to do this. Just for the context of today and Chuck being a good uke for me, my instructor, my old instructor would say, one knee down, other knee up. And based on you're smashing your opponent and winding their leg up, right, when you turn and move, the leg should go out of the way at that point. Not quite the way I execute my passes these days, but there are people that are going to execute this, try to execute a single leg stack pass on you. There's a lot of big guys, and I was just having this conversation with a couple other dudes about some of the dudes that will just reach one leg or one arm under. They're not sure what to do from there. There's always something to do. It's actually some of my favorite counters is when somebody tries to go single leg, but it doesn't end up happening very much, especially around here, just because Gumby just doesn't really show that pass anymore because he wants to set everybody up for success. But once again, there are some of these guys that know that and kind of use that against people and will stack and try to bait certain situations. They might get caught here or there, but once again, there are that percentage of guys. You don't want to get caught in that position. We should kind of like the worst of this. Like you're not managing the situation well enough, right? If I drive my knee down, this is getting really, really bad for my opponent here. And if I can sub him from here too, I know Chuck is not very flexible, and this is pretty much like the best thing that you could be doing from there, right? Safest way to hit this pass, right? Not to do this like this. This is bad, right? I would want to open up my opponent's guard, go up knee in the middle, always have my head more towards the side here, reaching under. This is more safe. This is safe because I'm latching my elbow to the side here. And I want to make sure my head doesn't go off over here. I want to make sure I keep my head in between my legs. In this case, I actually can put some hip pressure, right? And I can choose to go whichever side that I want. If I feel, I can drive my knee. I want to keep my grips. Everything's good. If he tries to drive his leg down, right? This is extra stuff. Just giving you an idea of that was the more advanced stages of that single leg stack pass. That's where you want to get to, but man, I don't know what it is. My old instructor would just be like, Trevor, you just let them fail. Just let them fail forever. But it's like, if you're setting them up for failure, of course they're going to fail. If you had a situation where, you're showing everybody how to defend it on the first day, I wouldn't have a problem, but that takes years. And it even took me forever. But I was his number one guy. So he showed me everything, short amount of time, and teach it right away. Anyway, so that's just the preface of what is the stack pass, what is the situation that we're going to be dealing with. And we're also going to be talking about when somebody goes double under here. Okay, everybody who's trained here at Heroes knows this is the way Gumby likes to do it. I don't have to explain about this too much. Everybody pretty much knows what they're doing on this. This is where we're going to be more hip heavy, right? But what I was showing before is more shoulder heavy. And my hip bone is not connected to him. I'm just tripoding pressure. And I was actually doing way more nice before because I'm trying to make sure Chuck's going to be a good uke for me. And now I'm going to talk about how to alleviate some of this pressure, depending on how long I've been talking at this point here. We're going to go top to bottom at this point. Moving along nicely. Yeah, we're going just fine. Okay, are we in the shot? Okay. Check some of my eyes here. Okay, here we are. I don't have a plan. I'm not being proactive. I didn't have any grips necessarily. I didn't run my pace. Obviously, you should always have some sort of grips, right? But if I have like a cross collar, cross sleeve here, this is going to allow him to grab, right? This is generally what people will do, right? So right now, Chuck is playing or being uke for me. So these are these basic grips here that old school would always teach. Just grab two collars, grab the belt. They would just always teach it. Okay, grab cross sleeve. A lot of different ways that people latch and keep their elbow tight. There's lots of different annoyances from here. But right now, I'm not running my pace, and for me, that's what I was losing my train of thought on before. Is when I'm on bottom here, my opponent on top is going to tell me a lot about what they're going to do by not stepping a leg up. By staying there is going to tell me what I'm capable of. When they step one leg up or the other, it's also going to tell me a lot about where I'm going to take them, what they're going to do, what they're capable of. Okay, so right now he's stepping his left leg up. He's running his pace. He's got his hips up. He's got a good posture. He's keeping his elbow tight. All this good stuff, right? I'm not running my pace. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Maybe I'm thinking scissor sweep. Maybe there's so many things that I could have did, but I didn't do them. He's reaching inside, right? Reached inside. I'm thinking, oh, maybe this is that golden moment, right? But it's like, oh, the elbow space went away. And Chuck is actually doing this really good right now when I feel like, oh, crap. Like I really messed up, right? So I might have been trying to keep my foot on the hip to try to keep distance, but he's going to be going off that way anyway. So I always tell people, what's coming at you right now? The shoulders and the hips. Keep your elbows tight. There you go. Shoulders and the hips. So be very careful when you're posting with your hands on this, okay? You're going to be asking to get wrist lock. And granted, I do it all the time where I'm pushing with the butt end of my wrist, but not necessarily pushing with my fingers, right? There's ways to do the pushing right, but turning this way is the most efficient way to make sure you're not going to hurt yourself. Obviously, keeping your fingers nice and tight. I have this right now, or depending on if I'm grabbing grips, right? So I have to alleviate this pressure, right? So if I just let him keep throwing my knee to my nose, this is going to be a problem. I'm really flexible, and honestly, if you know what you're doing on this, you could probably throw my knee into my face and into my jaw. Yeah, this is exactly what I don't want, right? So let's alleviate that pressure a little bit. So as he's getting to that apex of pressure, he's trying to get to that, I want to alleviate that. So he's got way past the point of return. Most of us probably are even tapping to that, right? You don't want to be dealing with any of that. So before he's getting too close to you, I'm already knowing what I got to do. I got to alleviate this pressure because there's really nothing you could do with this leg at this point unless you have some sort of crazy strong leg. So I have to go with the flow. I actually got to move my leg where he would want it to go, which is past his head. So I'm actually going to sort of do him a favor, but it's on my terms here. So see how my shin is facing away. This is bad. This is really bad because I got to do everything in the opposite direction here. Okay. So if I need to, I can put my foot on the ground here. Okay. I'm going to turn to alleviate this pressure and sort of slide my shin towards his chest, but ultimately I wanted to get it across his hip line. Generally, because he feels like his first pass isn't going to work, he's probably going to take this arm out. So there's so many things that can happen from just this one position here, but I'm going to leave it for another day, like when we have submissions and all that sort of thing. So he's going to take this out. So when that happens, I'm going to reinforce his position by throwing my leg over. Okay, there's a lot of different reasons why I'll throw my leg over. Right now, it's just to kind of stop him from coming in on the current side. Right? Don't even say you're just saying which side you're coming to pass on, but that's okay. When they reach the arm over, I'm going to grab that arm. Right? I'm going to do stuff with it. I'm not going to just stay here. And in reality, I normally don't have to do more than 1 or 2 recoveries on this, but just the drill, I'm going to show the other side if things go bad. Honestly, you shouldn't be having to use this more than once or twice. So his knee's going to come down, and we're going to go to the other side. And I just showed Chuck this drill, so if it's seeming a little wonky for him, don't worry about it. When he comes down, it comes up. There it is. Here we go. Eye windshield wiper, turn to the side. Windshield wiper, Turn to the side, what's coming at you, the shoulders and the hips, what's coming at you, shoulders and the hips. I say this to all my students when I'm teaching. What's coming at you? You need to block the space. So let's talk about something really quick here. So that wasn't bad. Even the absence of that leg over the head will come over top. Try to side control the chest. Don't necessarily try to be a bully, just try to put your pressure on me. So at the very least, if I can keep my elbow and my knee together, so go ahead and get a check for a second. I'm doing this all the time, keeping my elbow tight to my knee. I am managing that space. Unfortunately, keyword space, there is a little bit of a triangle of space there that he has to use his hip or his knee or a point of his body to get into. But at the very least, this is what I'm always trying to do. Okay, if anybody rolls with me, you call me like a cockroach or a cockroach defense. I'm always trying to curl up and managing my space. And I tend to be really flexible, but people's reactions when they're in bad positions to stretch out and do crazy and stupid stuff, but you want to stay tightly compact. Okay. Just show this drill again, side to side a couple times. Here we go. Yeah, already I feel. And a lot of times when they get here, they don't go too slow. Maybe sometimes they go too fast. When they go too fast, they do you a favor. And even when they go slow, that's okay. But I'm going to show some more in between positions when they go double under. So he's going to start walking around. Boom. Walk. And time. Okay. So that's just a drill. And that's hard. That's a hard drill to teach because the top person has to know what they're doing on that. Okay. So you kind of want to see what the top person is doing just without. So I was here, I'm thinking about stacking, and I turn. Basically doing pivoting on my knee and turning, right? Just to be a good UK on that, right? And I was showing a couple drills a couple weeks ago on the post, or if you can find some sort of aim post or padded post, you can practice these recovery drills. So like I was saying before, I don't like to do this recovery more than once. If I'm doing it twice, I wasn't being proactive about grabbing my grips or thinking about my next option. You're not trying to freeze from there. I mean, there's a million, not a million, but a good amount of things that can happen in all those beautiful in-between positions. That's why I like them, because they're kind of broken guard positions. There's situations where my opponent feels good because they're running their pace on me, okay? And generally, when they're running their pace, they don't want to stop. But when you feel them stop, that's your time to go. Now, my goal is to stop their frenzy of passing, whatever it is. Like, you know, it doesn't seem that a stack is very frenzious, but sometimes they can create a lot of frenzy out of that. So let's talk about how to recover from that single leg stack pass when things are going bad. And I want to show more preemptive on that because I have time for that. Okay, so we're gonna go here, boop, turn, recover, sorry, check space, and you can pull his arm out. Boom. He's gonna reach around my leg, and I'm gonna stop him up. Just gonna grab a cat's paw grip. There's a lot of different grips. Because he feels that things are probably gonna start going bad for him, he's gonna sit back for now. Okay. Yeah, he's gonna sit his way back there. Okay, this is great because he's giving me time and space. And I also use his hand outside here to grab the grip. Okay, this isn't the most important thing for today. I'm going to be showing a bunch of sweeps in a bunch of different situations later. I would prefer to be up on my shoulder. This is a good position for me to be in, right? Sometimes hooking the back here, doing all kinds of things. This leg can go many different positions. But right now we're trying to go back to guard here. Okay, so I might have been thinking about a sweep, but it's very difficult because he's sitting back. So I'm just going to go kind of through just a little preview of these. So I want to, as my hips come down, I'm going to pendulum my leg down towards the elbow joint. But I felt like that's not going to work. But depending on who it is, and sometimes like Bobby or somebody who's strong or big, for instance, I pretty much know I'm not going to get that sweep on you. But I'm going to be able to, when you're not providing the pressure. But I know I can get at least here, right? Sometimes to go even further, stretch through. Now I got my lasso here. Okay, and I should have a good angle on my opponent, right? If you see how Chuck would see that he's not looking at me, I don't want to really be in front of my opponent. I would prefer to have a good angle. Okay, but because we're going back to our closed guard, because I was here, I'm just going to use this top barrier to escape my bottom barrier. See that? I was here, now I'm here. Because I'm still pulling this whole time, as I move my shin off, kind of a scraping motion, I'm going to pull my opponent in back to a good closed guard. Okay, I'm going to show that. I'm going to do that again. Single leg stack.
I swear, this happens so much, team. Boom, they're going. That's fine. Covered. Whoa. Here we are. He already feels like if he stays over, that's where I want to take him. He's going to probably sit back. That's fine. Throw my leg in. Right? I'm going to talk way more in depth about those sweep situations, right? But just know that I can't pass my leg through his head, right? So I have to at least make this circular motion. It doesn't have to be a perfect pendulum motion. I just have to be able to get my leg over to this other side. And once again, he might think that he's going to stack me from here too. That might happen. He might get caught into other traps. But that's going to be for sweeps and attacks. Okay, so he's sitting back. We're going to talk about when they retry to establish at that point here. So he's sitting back. We'll try to kick just to create some space and some time. Circle inside. Blocking with the top barrier as much as I can. Bring my bottom leg in. Got my foot on the hip. Still got that good pushing pull. And I bring myself in. Okay. So I'm just going to take a quick sip of water. I'm starting to feel really parched. It's really warm. It's going to be back in about 30 seconds. All right, team, you might be able to put this one into the category of kind of preemptive defense, but I definitely just want to show this one in this series because it's basically from the exact same position. It's just based on how quick can you react, right? And it takes a long time for you to feel what's the right time to do at the right time. It's generally our instincts are almost 100% opposite on what to do right, but don't worry, like usually just go completely the other way, do the exact opposite thing. It's usually a good thing to do. Okay, so because I've been getting stacked for a long time, I don't want to incur any of that on my back or whatever situation. I don't want to get stacked, depending on how tired and how lazy and how my body felt that day. I want to react when there's this battle. Let's just talk about double under really quick because it's the same thing applies for a single or whatever. Okay, he's already got his grip here, but there's a situation where he has to scoop with his arms. Okay, remember, scoop the arm with the leg. Okay, that means that the arm is going against the leg. Okay, so if I know what I'm doing on this and I do with the double under, right, I want to go heavy leg. Okay, anybody who's taking Gumby's classes or been at Heroes for more than 6 to 8 months and has been through the fundamentals has seen this before. Okay, so this is with both legs. Right now I'm going to show with one leg, and I'm going to be getting an angle and be playing a pretty basic open guard position. So I got collar and sleeve going on. This is just a good basic position, right? I didn't necessarily need to have the collar and sleeve, but it's going to help me for this next thing. And I'm just waiting. You know, usually bottom person is either waiting like a snake. If you want to be proactive on bottom, you can too. But you know, the difference being here is Chuck can't attack me. He has to pass my guard. Me, I got lots of options. He has to stay away from it. Okay, so I know that's what we can kind of play the waiting game on bottom a little bit and wait for your opponent to pick an option, and your brain needs to go to that folder. Okay, what can I do when they step this leg up? What can I do when they step this leg up? What do I do when they step both legs up? What do I do when he picks me up? There's only so many things under the sun. That's why I'm saying you got to kind of, make summaries to yourself and just create these predictabilities. Anyway, I know right now because I showed him, he stepped his leg up that way, what's going to happen here. Okay, he's going to reach inside. So before he brings that leg to his shoulder, which is going to be his body against my leg battle, I want to kick out on this. So he's going to lift. He's going to lift. That's good. Yeah, keep lifting. The more they lift, it's actually the easier it is for me to do all kinds of weird stuff out. Right. So I actually bank that my opponent is going to lift really hard. But let's say where I want to go. I just wanted to show the exaggerated. It's really hard to create realism when it comes to the uke, but I'm imagining just some big, strong dude, doesn't even matter what belt he is, just a strong dude. He's like, I'm gonna stack this little dude. And this is what they always do, right? Leg up, reach in, boom.
Not today. Foot inside, right? Keeping them at bay. Sometimes I push this down, sometimes I move this up. I'm doing that reverse thing with my foot, like I'm trying to keep them away with this like hand grip here. What I would do with my hand, just in this instance, right? Just like a little C grip. I want to do that with my foot here. Okay. And I have this good push and pull with these other grips here. There's a lot of good things that can happen from here. So many good things. All right. I can go triangle, I can go sweep. But for the purposes of the theme of the class, right? I'm going to go back to guard, right? If I feel like I can't, maybe he has my pant or grip or something like that, like I can put my foot on the shoulder, right? So I feel like it's not so risky for me to try to kick this way, which creates space for him to go back under, right? I might have that same problem, right? So let's go back. So you're here. So if he's got my pant grip here, I feel like that's a problem for me. I'll go foot on the shoulder here, which is going to be a lot swifter for me to bring him inside. Just a little detail there, and you always should be aiming for all the joints, right? Aiming for elbow joint. Sometimes some crazy guys will go over the wrist there, but elbow joint, shoulder joint, right? There's only so many joints, but we're always going for them. Now, obviously, like an itch and to show all kinds of crazy stuff, but I got to keep things simple for now, right? Keep the shoulder at bay. I'm sideways. Once again, I'm pulling with my arms. I'm pushing with my leg. The only thing that changes on this is that I move my leg. The pull never stops. Pull never stops. Pull my opponent in. If you want to get really slick with that, you can set your chokes up with that too. Everybody can kind of pick and choose what you want to use to add to situations that are good for you. Okay. I'm just going to show that one a couple more times. I probably have a couple more things that I want to show for you. I got to definitely save some material for Wednesday too. There we go. Hips up, out to the side. Sideways. Very, very important, right? I'm going to be moving back to the situation at some point, maybe in a week or two. Right now, I'm just move my foot to the shoulder. Lots of good things happening here. Keep pulling with my arms. Move both legs out of the way. Pull my opponent in. And I like to keep my opponent at bay with his bite. This is something I'm definitely going to be talking about way more when it comes to preemptive defense, right? Because if he can't even lift his hips up, eventually you move. If he can't lift his hips up, it's going to be really, really difficult for him to try to pass. Okay, so let's talk about the double under here. Really quick. Just see what time it is. Okay, yeah, this is perfect. So be ending with, what do you do when somebody's going double under? Okay, so there's like I was saying, there's a lot of things that we can do. You can go wiggle your legs open. Keep your weight over your opponent's elbows, right? Do all the good Gumby stuff. Keep my weight on one side. I might be able to switch into the spider, right, with the other one inside. Do the same old thing here, right? Be preemptive. Don't even let him grab his feet or hands together. Heavy leg, protecting my neck, more on my shoulder, right? But a lot of times they'll posture back at this point. If they posture back, that's cool. Sometimes I can even throw both legs around my opponent here, right? This is a tricky little thing. Like if you can, depending on the length of your legs versus the length of your opponent's, or just the width of your opponent's body and their arms, this is great because this kind of screws them up real good, right? Put my hips up, got my legs around my opponent, and I definitely have a lot more series from this position, like one arm in, one arm out. Definitely have used a lot of good concepts, learning from a bunch of different black belts over the years, and realize how much time and energy I've been wasting. Anyways, so let's talk about when things are getting really bad from here, when he's following through, when he's going for his double smack pass. So I'm going to do the same old thing that I was doing before. Still going to block the hip. Still going to block the shoulder. Okay, same old thing, right? I might feel like I can't get this leg down on the ground. That's okay. I was going to save this little bit for this. So kind of a quasi attack there. It's mostly when he puts more pressure on this is what he wants to do. He actually ends up kind of choking himself. At least that's what I felt. Is that right, Chuck? Like when this is about to happen. So I'll go here, shin over the neck, right? Now I'm going to go leg over the neck here. And if I can, sometimes I grab the head. Sometimes I have the collar the whole time too before that, right? Sometimes maybe I grab the collar. In this case, I can't get it. But I'm putting pressure. The more he puts pressure on me, the more he chokes himself, right? And then he moves away. He moves away, my leg comes down, this arm comes out, and here we are in the same recovery position, right? I might go here, I might go here. In this case, I'm just gonna pull my opponent into the close guard. I'm gonna go ahead and go double under. He's gonna try to go around. Everybody does this. Yeah, I'm just being patient. I move my leg. See, that's how I know I'm gonna be good. The moment that foot moves, the moment this foot will move, I know I'm going to be okay, depending on how deep my opponent's got. Right now, I'm blocking his elbow. I'm not allowing it to get into my armpit. If I allow this thing to get in my armpit, I'm toast. Okay, start to turn. This moment where my knee pivots past that point is very important. Turning. Right now, I'm blocking his chest, right? But like I said, ultimately, I'll get back down to here. But right now, I have to block his upper body pressure. Turning sideways, throwing the leg over. Right now, I can also keep that there. Oh my God. There's so many things that I can't show right now just because I'm trying to make sure, keep talking about recovery. So I have one more thing to show. Sometimes there's stubborn people. Yeah? There's a lot of crazy things that can happen from here. I'm a big fan of like flipping people over their head and kind of putting you in situations where you can't even use any of the recovery that I show. So it's funny, like when I show certain things to the students or people, I'll try to throw a monkey wrench and all that just to make sure, you know, there's something always different to do. But anyway, sometimes there's people that will just stay low here, just trying to stay low. Sometimes they grab the belt, sometimes they grab the gi. This is something I like to do sometimes, right? Sometimes they're fishing for arms. Sometimes they're doing goofy stuff like reaching through with their legs and doing lazy passes, or even kind of doing that sort of thing too and getting around. So that's why somebody might be low, but I want to be preemptive about that in recovery. So I'm not necessarily going to recover to a closed guard on this. I'm actually going to recover out to a slightly more dominant position, which is a hip right position. So we're going to switch top to bottom on this. And this will be the last thing I showed. Cool down really quick. All right, here we are. He's low. He's low, and he's being a pest here. It's like, okay, I kind of want him to move into me, right? I want him to do stuff. Let's just say maybe you grab my punch. There you go. So I'm trying to make sure things are good for me. I'm doing this too. I'm trying to make sure I'm staying heavy. All this is good. I wasn't necessarily playing around from here, right? Who knows? I might have been. Who knows? You might have been thinking about armless triangle, a bunch of crazy things if they were staying over there too much. Probably should do this direction. There you go. Heavyweights here. Okay. So I'm going to use this to sit up. There's a lot of different things that I can do. I might be able to go for the neck. I might be able to go for all kinds of crazy things as I sit up, guillotine. But right now, I'm just going to be sitting up and fighting. Yeah. I felt those grips great, right? That's fine. If he wants to keep it, I'm still going to escape my leg out. Okay. I'm going to go heavy, 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 heavy leg, right? I'm going to switch my grips depending on which side I want to go. Because his head's on this side, I got to switch my grips because I got to get up this other way. So I'm going to grab whatever I can, not necessarily line the belt, just trying to stay close to where my opponent is, close to my hand, and escape out just to a decent hip right position here. Okay, there's a lot of different things we can do. So this isn't necessarily an attack. It's just a way to make this position good for you, less effective for your opponent. Here, maybe I just stop these grips, right? But he's just staying low. We're just playing. Sit up. See how I technically sit up, right? I'm up on my right hand. That means I'm going to escape my right leg. Escape my right leg, right? And if he wants to move back into me, there's all kinds of crazy things that will happen. But right now, we'll just keep it to this. I might even be fishing for my crucifix, right? Which is, I guess, a position, not necessarily an attack. So I guess I could show it. Now we're here. There's plenty of different ways to attack this position. Some people like to roll, right? And it's just a control position. I can roll, stay sideways, stay in control at this point, start going for the neck, all kinds of things we can do. Show it one more time. And maybe I'll try to show everything in here just to review. Well, there we go. I've already beat this. So I'm already sitting up. Maybe I'm pushing his head down too. Keep his head down. Okay, keep your head down. Escape out. Plenty of things I can do. Start thinking about taking the back. Right? Thinking about crucifix. Go and turn your head this way. Other way. Hip right. I want to drive this knee in. Boom. There's this. Drive the knee up. Straight space. And then drive this knee in. Crucifix. Other things going on. Okay. Let's do a quick review of everything. All right, very first thing here. Yeah, we can still do it. You can still do it from double under or the single. Doesn't even matter. Okay, that's fine. He's going to go double under and choose whichever side you want to go. Yep, here we are. Turn leg, right? He wants to pick this out. I'm going to go ahead and grab it because he would be trying to pass on this side, right? That makes a lot of sense. I go hips up and he's like, oh crap, I don't want anything to do with that. Boom, boom, boom. Bring my opponent back in. We made a lot of mistakes letting them get in and around there. So here it goes again. Yeah! This is the second one, right? Keeping them at bay. still got my good push and my pull. You could have attacked all the while there. Keep moving away. What do we have going on here? So double under. So he's going around the side again. So I'm showing this little extra thing too. So we go shin over the neck, leg over, right? And sometimes I'll use this other arm to support, right? Because he's trying to smash my legs with that. Yeah, keep smashing. Yeah. He's not going to put my legs down to the ground. He's not going to put that there. And I'm putting, yeah, he's already tapped to that pressure there. And I'm banking that they move away at that point, or just enough space to move my leg. And now we're in the same situation. Who knows? He might have been moving back so far. Might have been doing some other things from here. Might have been doing some other things. Bring myself back. Okay. So let's go double under. Preemptive. Boom. He postures up from here. 1, 2. All this good stuff. You can attack, or if you want to bring yourself back to guard, that's what we're doing. He's going to go under again. Boom. But I still have this going on, but he stays low. He stays low because he knows what's going on here. And he just wants to hunker down. Some annoying guys will do this here. So I'm like, okay, you want to stay there? Keep your head there. Push his head down. Keep that head down. Go seatbelt, attack, however you feel like. So that was just a quick review. So we're just going to stretch out really quick, and maybe any final thoughts that come to my brain. Feel free to comment. I remember somebody said in a comment, can I show, what is it, a banana split? Who knows? I'll show it. That's a big part of my game too, like all that old 10 planet stuff. Definitely big fan of that stuff for a long time. Changed my game and always definitely changed the world too. World of Jiu Jitsu anyway. Switch legs. Everybody that has a pool is using their pool. Not Paul. Once again, for the next month, it's going to be 8 classes about just different situations from those situations I was just showing. Like I left a lot out. There's sweeps, submissions, so many things going on there. So many connections to be made. And I definitely hope starting to fill in some blanks for people. And you'll definitely see how much I've been leaving out. And you'll definitely see them itching to feel more. Go butterfly. You gotta show it in increments. What's good is that you can just rewind. Can't quite do that in normal time. So there might be some positives to the situation. Who knows? We're all gonna have to adapt in insane ways. Oh, last most important thing. Put those legs over the head. Shut those legs, you can get stacked. Stacked. Oh. Time to go. All right, team. For anybody who was watching during, I appreciate you. If anybody's watching secondhand, appreciate you just as much. Like and subscribe. If you're watching on Zoom, once again, thank you. For YouTube, like and subscribe. Appreciate you. Here at Martial Arts, Chuck Walker, Trevor Ireland. Appreciate you guys.